Muterator did not get me today. Haha. Hello, everybody. We're doing a fun one today. One of my favorite groups, and I would hope by now that this is one of y'all's favorite groups, because as the continuous standard goes, is ADFU recruiting? Yes, they are. Today I've got Lord Jaxom and Tbagger here to talk about ADFU and see what crazy fun stuff we can get into. So with that, why don't you both kind of introduce yourselves for me? Just that way, yeah.
Alright, I am Lord Jaxom. I am the XO of ADFU and have been for a few years now. I've been playing the game since 17, and I've been in ADFU for most of that time. I do many things.
This is accurate. And Tbagger.
Yeah, so I'm Tbagger 98. I'm the CEO of ADFU. I didn't create it. It was really funny how it happened. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah. So CEO, GSF Alliance Director for Diplomacy. Just kind of internet space gentleman.
I am trying to explain part of a meme to somebody in the room with me, and they're failing spectacularly. But that is okay.
Yeah.
Don't step on the bone.
I am trying my best.
Okay. But absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys for coming. With that, what kind of gave ADFU or Asteroid Farm Unlimited, what gave them their name?
You know, it's a great question. So the guy who started ADFU was a guy named Stark or Gruel, depending on which character he's using. I first encountered the Corp when we were in the Aquarius Fight Club, which was the sort of PvP alliance, well, not alliance, the PvP organization that Goon Swarm allowed to live in Aquarius. Essentially, it was a bunch of small alliances that lived in Aquarius under the Goon auspices prior to Vietnam. I was in Spectral Incorporated at the time, and both corps were in a little alliance called Imperium Divine. Imperium Divine did not last long as an alliance. It existed, I think, for only a few months before it imploded itself. And the corp, both of our corps, went and joined Brothers in Arms, which was one of the smallest Imperium alliances. They were the smallest or second smallest. Living in essentially South Delve. And that was when ADFU first joined the Imperium, and kind of did its own thing. It was still mostly a crab corporation at the time, most doing ice mining, moon mining, some ratting down in the southern portion of Delve, near Aquarius. And that state of affairs persisted for about, how long was it? It would have been, it wasn't that long. I want to say it was like 6 months or so, before Brothers in Arms drummed itself out of the Imperium.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. Like, we were in it from November of 17 until February of 18. So it's like a very short period in BIA. And BIA, like, the easiest way to describe it is the bastard redheaded stepchild of the Imperium, right? Stingy crabs. That's what we were, right? When I joined, I mean, I didn't even know they were in the Imperium, right? No one told me that when I was in the recruiting process. They're just like, oh yeah, let me check your characters. Okay, yeah, you can come in. And I was like, there's a shitload of goons around here and they're blue. Is that normal? And they're like, yeah. And I say, oh shit, I'm friends with goons. Okay, cool. This can be a cool thing because, my whole career I had my ass beat by them a couple of times in Stain and things like that. So it was really interesting. But yeah, that whole short period was really funny, because that's in that short existence of being in BIA. That's when I joined. One of my coworkers invited me, and I want to say within a month I was a director over recruitment.
Oh man. So
and then BIA did its thing and kind of.
So did you get the CEO job before or after the BIA actually crashed and burned?
Yeah, so BIA was burning it on fire, and Stark was literally nowhere to be found. And I was like, dude, look, hey, to coin a phrase, shit or get off the pot, buddy. Either do it or step out of the way. And he's like, okay, I got us a spot. I'm talking with a guy named Carneros. He's a real nice guy. You're gonna like him. He's chill like you. And then we joined, and I think it was I'll have to go look at the thing while you talk for a minute. But like, we were in the Bastion for maybe a month or so before I was appointed CEO.
Yeah, and my corp and when BIA crashed, my CEO at the time had something to do with that. He decided to close his corp, which I was in, and since I was not inclined to move back to HighSec, I ended up joining ADFU because, I mean, corps have been kind of friends for a couple of alliances, and I figured, given the options, it made sense to me. I was still a fairly new player at the time, only had been playing the game for 6-8 months, something like that. And yeah, so we went and joined Bastion, which was a larger Imperium alliance. The various corps in BIA went to different places. Some went to Goons proper, some went to Bastion, some went to Lawn, TNT, etc. There's I think at least one of them is still around in Goons proper.
For Bastion,
It was
or forgive me, or BIA corps.
Sorry, what?
For who was you said brothers in the Imperium or BIA or in Bastion? Sorry.
Brothers, the various Brothers in Arms Corps
Okay.
went to different places, and there's at least one of the bigger ones is still in Goonswarm proper. I haven't tracked them all over the years, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say it was. I think the thing that held ADFU together is while all the stuff was happening, the fire sales were going off, people were buying. I was buying people's entire fits, right? Like I was buying hundreds of ships from people that were just fire selling because they were going, back to Empire space or whatever, and I was the voice saying, guys, calm yourselves. ADFU's not going anywhere. We're just gonna move somewhere in the Imperium. Relax, guys. Hey, if you guys are not wanting to stay in your corp and your corp is cascading, join ADFU, right? I was pulling the failing corps together, and I think that's what Stark was like. Holy crap, right? Because we jumped, I want to say like 30 people. Well, 30 pilots, but back then 30 pilots was, oh wow, that was a huge pile, right? And so that's what I did as the recruitment director when everything was falling down. I was like, dude, it's the Imperium. This stuff flows off their back, right? This is no big deal. Things come and go. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah. Brings back there. That was an interesting time, even though I didn't understand the stuff. A lot of the stuff that was happening at that time, I didn't actually understand fully what was going on until years later when I got the full stories. Yeah, and Bastion at the time mostly lived on the opposite end of Delve, so they were in north Delve, a dead-end constellation, which later became known as Helm's Deep during the war, but in 7 UTB and 5 TAC 6. So we moved from, we didn't do it right away, but eventually we moved from South Delve to 7 UTB primarily. That was the Corp's home for many years. I don't remember how long, but really it was until
migration?
The end of the war, because it was until the war, the end of the Vietnam, or the middle of Vietnam, I guess I could say. There was a we'll talk about later, a little later, but there was a move to Fountain, but we retained 7 UTB as a base, as our Delve base throughout that.
So that coincides. So lining this up on the timeline of kind of past episodes, where so in the Bastion you guys had this area, and then you helped go into Fountain, and that was when Bastion, was that before or after? Because if it was before, that was when Fountain was split between the Bastion and it, correct?
Yes. Is the first time. Okay, so prior to the war, the Fountain had Init lived in Fountain. Init also had rental space in Fountain. Bastion also maintained a few rental constellations in Fountain at the time. So essentially, Fountain was split between Init, Init home space, Bastion rental space, Init rental space, and then Goonswarm actually had some salve there for the purposes of jump bridges and moons, because the old jump bridges, the toss-based ones, required sob. They didn't work quite the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, and the funny thing about Fountain is, in Fensis, by the way, that was the Bastion Alliance. That was the rental group. I kind of did a thing. One of my friends convinced me that I could make a shitload of money in a system, 1 tech 5 GBW. And so with some friends, we completely infrastructured the system. We had, moons, we had an Astra house, we had a production facility, we had a Fortizar. I think we had 8 or 10 Athenors, Tech 2 rigs on all the moons. Like, we went,
Damn.
it started off with me and a single Rorqual and a super, and the super I kept in KVN. So I'd come in and super rat, right, and then go back, right, and so, right, and the directors were pissed at me because they're like, you just went down there and put our flag down there in Fountain. What the hell's wrong with you? And I was like, yeah, well, I'm space rich, so I was able to buy all this stuff with the resources, and that was a pivotal point in our corp, because when the Bastion deployed to their rental space to kind of to shake the dust off, right? Carneros wanted to get out and stretch the legs and see what kind of might we could grow to, and that was right before the war, and
right before. Hang on, it was right before the tribute deployment.
Yeah, and
in,
so
2019.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I didn't know that they were going to put a Keepstar next door. Like, I was totally left out of that discussion, right? And so they're like, hey, if anyone's around, jump in this fleet. It's in this system. Don't talk about it, just show up. And so I showed up in that fleet, and my battle Rorqual,
A battle qual? Dear Lord.
Hell yes, I was the only one in a Rorqual. But I just gated it because 1 tech 5 was right next door, and so it was really funny. The finance director.
Did you at least remember to put rigs on it?
Oh yeah, that was definitely rigged, and so I'm sitting there and I'm talking with Sullen Decimus. He was the finance director of the Bastion. I said, dude, what are we gonna do? Because like, our system's next door. We'll share. Like, come on, like, come next door, mine the shit out of this, right? And then Sullen went into the next system. He's like, what the hell is all this? And I said, this is where all my money comes from. Now I have to share because the Keepstar's next door. Be kind of mean to not share, right? And he was just like, okay. And I was like, look, take care of everybody else first. Here's the moon cycles. I gave them a spreadsheet with when they were firing off, and we shared with everybody, right? Because they deployed and they needed stuff to do, and that system was already maxed out, ready to go. It was great.
Yeah. So, like we said, this is very much pre-war. This is a deployment. So this is right on the edge of the things are going to get spicy. How far like within a time frame, if you could give me?
This is about roughly hang on, make sure my math is right. Yeah, this is a bit over a year before the big war kicked off.
Okay.
So shortly after Bastion sort of moves to Fountain. It's kind of Bastion is officially deployed to Fountain. There is a bit of a split. Some people are still living in Delve, more or less. A lot of people are in Fountain. Anyway. A couple months after Bastion deploys to Fountain, the whole Imperium deploys out to Tribute. to do for the glassing of tribute that occurred over July-August of 2018. What ended that campaign is, some people may remember, was the Drifter invasion, where suddenly Drifters attacked everyone's stations in Nullsec. And the Delvin Fountain were hit quite hard by that. So when that happened, Bastion came back to Fountain, Goonswarm went back to Delve, etc. And the status quo persisted. Bastion got more heavily involved in Fountain over the next year or so. And trying to think if there were any other notable events between that and between the end of the tribute campaign and the start of... Oh, right, it was after then there was Blackout.
Oh, okay.
Blackout took a lot of people out of Fountain. A lot of the I think Blackout shifted a lot. I mean, it reduced the overall amount of PvEing done, but it also shifted a lot of it to Delve, where you could get coverage from the Super Umbrella, because it was important to understand that Bastion and Fountain, yes, they could cover. They could respond to threats, drops, etc., but it was far more limited. There wasn't an overwhelming super fleet to counter any potential threat.
Okay.
So there was a much more strategic, and with Blackout, it basically Fountain got a lot. It became very dangerous to minor carrier rat, capital rat in Fountain. You could still, I mean, it's not like you couldn't do it, but it was a lot riskier. So a lot of people went back to Delve to do it, who were doing that. You also, for Rorquals particularly, couldn't use excavators.
Oh gosh.
It wasn't. Yeah, because there were too many people were hunting excavators specifically, either bombers bombing them or Bouchers stealing them. And if you have no way to see them coming, yeah, nobody who really was using excavators during Blackout.
Was this how you caught? Was this how the certain story of somebody who kept doing this repeatedly, booshing them away and then stealing them? Did y'all get real? I heard a story about this. Was that placement in this time?
It was before that. And okay. He was part of the reason. The person in question was the primary. Well, there were a couple of people, but the primary one people know about was Omega Gold, who was using command destroyers to steal excavators. And he's one of the reasons you couldn't use excavators during this period, because again, if you can't see him coming, you can't pull excavators. And again, on top of him stealing, you also had the bombers. And yeah, so pretty much people didn't use excavators during this period.
Okay.
After that, we had Surgical Strike, and I guess I should go back a little bit and talk more about the Corp during this period specifically. Corp was kind of steadily growing during this period, not quickly. After the big influx going into Bastion, things kind of low and steady. I think it was sometime between 18 and 19 when I finally got promoted to director. Before that I was in a PvP officer situation. I guess it's interesting. Oh, I guess here's a fun little tidbit. When we were still, this was before the found deployment, we were still in 7UTB. We got a wormhole in system, and I scanned it down, and I poked my nose in and said, "Hey, there are no structures in here. I want to drop a structure." And I managed to talk the directors into giving me roles to drop a structure, and so I bought the cheapest structure off the market, which was a Raitaru, and I dropped the structure in that wormhole to see, hey, let's see how long it lives.
Oh yeah, the Rataru from hell.
How long did it live?
Yeah. Dude, how long? Let me think. Give me a moment to
It
think
can't
about
still
that.
be alive, can it? But
No.
when did
It died. And so while he's figuring that out, I will tell my favorite story about that.
Yes.
So there was a I think it was a Horde pilot, and they got a POS in, because we were busy doing other shit, right? And he brought a POS in, a whole bunch of things, and he was basically doing it all by himself. He didn't have any friends. It was just solo boxing it, and so he repped it, and there was some talk. We tried to push him off a little bit, and we were on I think it was the final timer, and we managed to get a dread in, a Haw dread. And the story, how the dread got in, it was like he went through 4 wormholes to get it, 3 regions and 4 wormholes.
He was critting the hole, when doing his whole control thing, and but he wasn't enough 24-hour coverage, so there was a sort of a few hour window around downtime when he wasn't watching the hole, and he just left it crit. I managed to scan out a chain, and the chain was system in period basis to LowSec to another system in LowSec to the C6 to the C5 we were occupying. So I gate and jump a Haw dread down to period basis, gated into LowSec faction warfare, jump into another system in LowSec, and jump it into the wormhole.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and the whole time this Horde guy is talking mad shit, right? just like mad shit. He was like, "Y'all ain't gonna bring nothing. I'm gonna own this hole. It's mine now." Right? And we're just like, "Okay, well, we'll see you at the final timer, friend." We were trying to be professional about it. We weren't being overly noisy. And then the fight time comes, right? And most of us undock in confessors, right? Because it was a Wolf Rayet hole, so confessors were the way to go. And these things, man, they were mean, right? And so he comes to the station, he starts doing his thing, and then here comes our pilot in the Haw dread at 0 and bounces off the guy. And he's like, "Oh shit!" Right, in local, and he just starts starbursting, and we're starting to shoot him, and then he warps off, and he's like, "Well played. I'll get my shit out of here as soon as possible." right? Like, he didn't even argue past that. He's like, "Oh shit, well played," and it's like, "Yeah, dude, you should do better hole control next time," because we were able to get a whole bunch of shit in, and we didn't talk shit until after he said he would leave, and then of course we shot his stuff.
I want to say the structure lived for about a year and a half.
Year and a half?
In that time, a year and a half. In that time, we fended off 1, 2, 3, 4 eviction attempts. I think something like that. I lose track. The biggest one was actually the second one, which was a Hard Knocks guy who this is one of the most. This story is absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
Hard Knocks guy comes in, brings in multiple capitals, a bunch of stuff, sets up a POS, large POS, and anchors an Astra House. Well, I'm watching this. I'm like, well, okay. Well, I find a frigate hold to delve. I'm like, oh, cool. So, Astra House anchor timer comes around. I ping retributions, come in and blow it up. Then we start shooting the POS. Now, remember, this is a large POS. We have no capitals. And moreover, we know absolutely nothing about POSes. Like, literally nothing. I mean, half the people were telling me that the POS force field disappears when you get through shield.
I don't think
so. And noted, it does not.
No, it does not.
We were there forever.
So yeah,
we spent... retributions, yeah.
Retributions, Kiki, some Kiki. There were some Kikis because those had recently come out, but yeah, mix of stuff. Shooting this wretched large POS, we get through 3/4 shield and discover he hasn't stronted it.
No.
So, we get it into structure, and then Novak rolls into us, brings in a fax, and reps the damn thing back up.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I was like literally in chat. I was like, I messaged that person. I said, literally, fuck you. Like, thank you. Like, I'm sure that guy's grateful, but for fuck's sake, man. Do you see what we're flying right now and the time it took us to get there?
Yeah. On top of that, while we're shooting this thing, he's trying to harass the ships that are shooting it.
Of course he
is. And however, he runs into the small problem of his own POS guns start shooting him when he boats out of the force field.
No fucking way!
It did. And we were like, wait a minute, is it shooting him? And Jaxom's like, what a dumbass. His own tower shooting him. His tower killed him, didn't it?
I don't remember if it actually killed anything, but I remember he has his carrier. He's boating his carrier out of the force field, dropping fighters on us, and the Poskins just start shooting and tackling his carrier.
Oh my god!
It's so funny as shit. Yeah. Anyway, eventually we get a large hole connection. We bring in capitals, and we bring in including a dread, which we use to ref the POS. And we anchor large bubbles around it, and then we are setting up for the final timer. Well, in the middle of it, a certain dread pilot decides to warp his dread off to do some ratting while he's sitting around.
Oh, no.
Fun fact, he wasn't set up to do drifter ratting, and he didn't know what he was doing. And long story short, we lost the fax trying to rescue him.
Oh no!
Yeah, Yavi, I remember that. I was like, what are you doing? One by one, they went in. Yeah, so the dread goes in and goes, oh, guys, I'm tackled, and I am melting. And we're like, okay, we start, saying prayers, like, Spirity Santa, you're done. Like, and then nope.
Die quietly, go die quietly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another director warps the faction, like, I'll save you. Oh, shit, I'm tackled. I'm melting.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyway, the Hard Knocks pilot ends up getting most of his stuff out on account of right before the few hours before the POS timer comes out, somebody else, another low class Wormhole Corp outfit 418 rolls in and we start skirmishing with them. They start shooting the bubbles on the pass, and we start skirmishing with them several times. We go back and forth. Eventually, they run us out of ships.
That's fair.
And they kill the bubbles on the pass. He warps his caps out to safes, and logs out. Safe logs them. But we do. After that, we do manage to kill the pass, and yeah, that was. I mean, the comedy of errors that went on in that eviction attempt was so absurd that you couldn't make it up. But we survived it.
You survived. You lost a dread of facts, and you skirmished with somebody, and still managed to keep it. Damn.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty funny. They tried. All right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the funny thing about that whole thing was just how long will it last? And then we ended up kind of farming that place for a while. But yeah, every now and then something would happen, and we'd all get together and go whip the shit out of whatever, and then back out to Delve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Alright, so this is also pre-war. So...
Yes.
Well, everything's going on.
This is
it's still pre-war.
Yeah, the Artaru finally died actually shortly pre-war. With they made a change to the Citadel timers. So initially with Citadel timers, you could set the day they would come out.
Okay.
Well, I always had this thing set for Sunday, so we always had a chance to get in. Well, they changed it so you could set the time but not the day. And essentially, it got hit wrong day, and with it was like a 3-day timer, and total. And essentially, I had middle of a work week. I had no chance to come defend it. And
yeah.
I mean, I tried. I was able to gun it, but I had no time to do prep work, get things in, any of the necessary things, and that's how I ended up losing that structure finally.
Yeah.
But it happens. Yeah, but that was that was the year of the war. It was later that year that the war occurred. In the lead up to the war, so ADFU we're split between Delve and Fountain in terms of assets. We've got a number of assets still in Delve, notably a T2 Asbel in 7 UTB, and did we still have? Well, we had some stuff in Fountain as well. I don't remember all exactly what.
Moon mining structures.
Just
and a couple Astra houses.
Yeah. Give me. Let's see. How do I roll into this one? By the time so I mentioned that ADFU was initially a very crabby crab corp. As Atrum put it, competing with Mine and Refine for the crabbiest crab name.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
But over the few years in Bastion, we had become increasingly more PvP, and so war breaks out. Big war breaks out.
Yep.
I know it's not the topic of this interview, but
oh no,
I'll talk it.
You can talk about it too.
The June of 2020, there's a SIG deployment to Cloud Ring and nearby Losec and such. And events there kind of lead to the HIP Goonswarm leadership off that the war is coming. There is a pullback to delve and pullback out of Cloud Ring and such, and there's effort to fortify Fountain and Delve for the expected attack, which gets confirmed a week later, and on July 5th, it was when 2020 was the official start of the war. Bastion and Init hold in Fountain for a while, for a few months. Just the main division of forces went something like Horde and various mercenary groups went deployed to the Iridia Losec system, whatever, the one on the border, Fountain, the name of which escapes me at the moment.
Yeah.
And hits Fountain. Test from their stagers in Esoteria and Ketch hit period basis Delve and Aquarius, mostly period basis and Aquarius initially. While Bastion and Init hold in Fountain for a while, it eventually becomes obvious that the numbers disparity is too great, and especially considering that the main super capital forces of the Imperium are still in Delve on the other side of the regional. So there's a it turns into a fighting withdrawal, and Bastion evacs along with Init across the regional into Delve. So we lose Fountain. Again, there's a defense was mustered, but we lost Fountain that way. And after that, the Corp was heavily focused on defending Fountain. After that, we lost Fountain. We were kind of free to do other things. So, and there were two things that we did. I mostly had the time of my life murdering Intosa ships in period basis Aquarius, Fountain to some degree, and that was how I spent my time. Meanwhile, the Bastion decided to go on the offense and deployed to Esoteria via Stain, and ADFU was critical in that effort, with Tbagger providing the staging Fortizar that was dropped down there. It was one of the most successful campaigns that Bastion did. It culminating in the destruction of the second most expensive structure kill mail in EVE
Wow.
history. We killed Satoyu, which had at least one Titan in build.
Oh shit.
And that was.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this the one thing that really sticks out for me here is we had some of the Delta Squad members of Bastion. So Bastion had a guerrilla squad, right? Guerrilla warfare. Go
So
over there, hang out with the Russians.
This is Delta
Um,
Squad, and this is where
Yeah.
the group that went behind the lines was useful.
Yeah, right. And so
Okay.
there was I don't know who started it, but I know that I was brought in by a guy named RVA Mitchell. He was doing their logistics, and he said, "Tbag, I know you're a jump freighter pilot. I know you have a shitload of them. I need you to move the universe. I need fuel. I need ammo. I need ships. I need structures. I need all of these things." And I was like, okay. He goes, "I am burned out. I'm living in a foreign country. I'm out of your time zone. Like, I need you to help me." And it was a very passionate speech. It was all in text, and I was just like, "I got you, fam." Right. And so I set up a Sino chain of like 7 or 8 characters. I had 2 different ways to go. I had like 4 accounts with Sino pilots that were just all everywhere. And the biggest moment for me was some of the fights that we had over in Esoteria, where Bastion's fighting alongside the Stain Russians, right? Then you had Init show up where they weren't expected, and so Test and Army of Mangoes and their friends are trying to defend these structures in the Sov. And there's this huge fight when we dropped the fort, and there was all these groups coming just all over the place to help, right? And that was the first time that I had ever seen Keisha. I think it was Keisha, right? Keisha and Carneros and some of those people bring in all these support groups, and they just magically, like the tip of a hat, they just showed up and just started helping. And it was right then that I think I don't know what happened, but I turned into this, like, the Imperium is the best fucking group ever, right? Because it was like the G.I. Joe of old, right? And of the 80s, it's like they came to help us. We were tired and worn out, and then they showed up, and it was just huge fights. And man, I got really fired up after that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So let's see what. So yeah, Init was deployed to Curse at the time. They were attacking Brave.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let's see, this period. So with Fountain Fallen, the entire mass of Pappy was hitting Quirius mostly with some period basis. Having failed to make it through the regional gate, the Catch Quirius regional, they construct their what I dubbed the what did I dub it? The Keepstar chain from hell. That was it.
Another
Because
chain
it
from
was
hell? Or another thing from
this
hell?
was this. What was the first one?
The Rotaru from hell.
Oh, the Retaru from hell that just kept surviving. And
No, this was called this is what I called the Keepstar chain from hell, because it's a 13 Keepstar chain through largely through Losec. Can you imagine doing that move up
Shit.
with multiple capitals?
Damn.
Yeah.
And Losec, oh god.
And the funny thing is one of our directors and one of our line members snuck super carriers down there to Esoteria. Right. So like I go to sleep and I wake up and there's a picture that MWR sent me of his hell in front of the station, where you could see, like, he had the picture of the name of the system, and the Astra House's name in the background, and then the hell right in front of it. And he was like, "Yeah, +2."
Meanwhile,
Oh my god.
while Happy is going 13 capital jumps to avoid a regional, we're YOLOing the same regional.
13 Keepstar jumps to avoid a regional. Wow, that is lazy.
Yeah. Well, it's not lazy, it's cowardly, but
Well,
anyway.
both.
Yeah, and we would, and anytime anyone would try to go through that gate, we would show up, they'd show up, someone would show up to just tear up whatever tried to take it, and we would just YOLO, we'd just go through it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Mhm.
So after doing the thing, Pappy starts hitting Quarius. That allows Pappy to hit Quarius in force. They begin making inroads. Eventually, they get to NPC Delve, and you get the NPC, and they start trying to drop a Keep Star in NPC Delve.
Oh, gosh.
And the first 4 of them get annihilated on their anchor. Don't fail to anchor. Yeah, those were some interesting fights. It was absolutely throw everything at these things, including the kitchen sink. I mean, I think at one point during the 4th fight, they pinged for people's ratting mermals.
Oh my gosh.
To get some more damage on field.
I mean, it's drones. It works.
Yeah. And then on the 5th, they managed to get the 5th one up with the bubble wrap trick.
Bubble wrap.
I like bubble wrap. I should be bubble wrapped.
And yeah, the 149 T2 large bubbles.
149?
Mm-hmm.
The fuck did they do?
Yeah, it was
like bubble fuck the fuck out of it?
They covered a Keep Star in bubbles. They completely surrounded it on all sides in bubble.
Oh my god.
They had so many bubbles that you couldn't load grid. I mean, and that's why we aborted the attempt, because anyone trying to land on grid could not load grid. Grid would not load.
Oh shit.
Yeah, how many did you say it was again?
149 is what I remember.
Yeah, because 150 CCP said was too many. like that was
like
the
that,
joke.
Yeah,
that was the joke. So before, and this is alleged, right? No, I don't have any proof, right? But allegedly there was someone had asked, okay, how many of these can we put down before it's considered abusing the system resources, right? Mm-hmm. Because the game would not load, like even on the best system, on the best internet, like it was just crap.
Mm-hmm. And they said 150 was the breaking number.
That's just too many.
It's too many.
Yeah.
So they get this. It was a Keep Star, correct, or was it a Fortisar?
Yeah, it was a Keep Star. This was was the staging Keep Star that they used. In the first Keep Star they got down in Delph. I guess I should just allude. Prior to that, there had a number of fights in NPC Delve, including the bosun trap attempt, which is where I lost my super. And actually, I think it's the only time this corp has lost supers, and we lost 2 in that fight.
Bosun trap,
which was essentially there's more detailed info on it, but essentially they Goonswarm pre-staged Titans with bosun doomsdays in the system, with the intention of baiting Happy into dropping supers and then warping in the Titans and hopefully catching their entire 250 man super fleet in a bosun and in a chain of bosuns, which would basically wipe it out.
Oh my gosh.
Was a glorious attempt which failed due to a previously unknown bug about bosuns and tie-dye. So yeah, that was an expensive loss. It cost us the Corp 2 supers, mine and Toke's. And then the Keepstar got set up, and Pappy was finally able to make actual inroads in Delve. The way gel geography is, the South Delve pockets essentially got cut off by NPC Delve. The fact that they had that Keepstar NPC Delve allowed them to cut off the South Delve pockets, which made it harder to defend. I still had a great deal of success hunting Intosha ships down there. But yeah, then they pushed their way into Delve. They eventually Goonswarm retreated to the Helm's Deep constellations using E3OI, camping the gate. It's a bottleneck for that entire
area.
4 constellations.
Okay.
5 constellations, excuse me. And so we had two primary focuses on defense. We defended the Helm's Deep, and we defended the Wendy Q constellation. Then Pappy moves forward to T5ZI. They set up their final staging Keepstar. The ironically named Tower of Legends.
Okay.
And,
okay. I can have a chuckle at that. That's about as bad as when they're saying we're practicing, we're training with the sword.
Well, I mean, if you think that's bad, the Toyu that they set up in front of it was named the Forge of Heroes.
Oh God!
Man, they had. I don't know.
I don't.
Like, here's the thing. The Imperium has this great group of folks that come up with some of the best memes and stuff, but some of the shit writes itself.
Well,
right? Like the you're gonna get the horde that wins.
Well, I think. Well, hold on. It looks like their package got delivered. Speaking of, I don't know. Let's see what this is. Hold on, here. Pass it here, Teenage Coup.
You've got a package.
Ah. It says this is from 1DQ to UALX to me. From ADFU, ITL, it got paid $200 million to speed it up and get it here on time. Let's crack it open.
Those ITL guys, man. Give them a little extra, it'll get here faster.
The packaging, if anybody's doubting me, the packaging, it is here. It is here.
It is a lot.
We have the packaging. Let me open it first.
We have to prove.
Before we go any further, I want to make sure that we...
It's 100% legit.
I would hope it's legit. Goodness. If it wasn't, that'd be a little creepy.
It would be,
But this is why I keep scissors on my desk.
Man, those
Skizzers are good.
those ITL guys, man, I didn't even see the Sino out front.
Wait, they had Sino out front? Shit.
Well, I mean, how do they deliver, right? I mean, maybe it's drones now.
Drones. It's gotta be drones, because, like, dude, have you seen Amazon? Okay. This is getting ripped into at this point.
Look, man, I gotta be honest. I don't think Amazon doesn't have shit on ITO, man.
Oh shit, especially with this packaging. This packaging is pretty damn good.
God, that box.
Yeah, I had to tear open the box. There you go. Hold on. What is this? Looks like there's some Wegman spaghetti sauce in this box. looks like there's
That
2
is the
cans
best
of.
sauce. It is the best sauce in New Eden.
That's what I heard.
That came. So one of our ADFU security officers confiscated that from Lord Jaxom's personal stash, and and 1DQ because that's where he keeps his backup stash.
I mean, you always got to have a good backup stash.
I was wondering where that got to.
Well, I've got 2 of the jars right here. Maybe we'll. Oh no. Maybe let's just give it to the teenagers and let them see how they like it. But I appreciate the contribution. The teenagers will love the Wegmans.
Yes. Can confirm.
Can confirm. All right, so we've talked about the funniness of the naming of Horde things, the naming of how the Imperium has some pretty great names for some stuff as well. And of course we've referenced some memes in this, but we're at this gateway where everybody's stuck in 1DQ, right?
Almost. We have 1DQ. We have the Helm's Deep constellation behind E3.
Mm-hmm.
In it is deployed to Curse, attacking Brave and Ketch. Bastion is deployed to Stain and Esoteria, hitting Test, Spackline, Massacre, and that's the setup. This is December of 2020, and essentially it's basically a slow slog over the parts of Delve which are not under either 1DQ constellation or the E3 E3 roadblock. And it's at the end of December that we get M2. So M2 happened. M2, and I will briefly talk about M2 because it bears. I guess one note here is that as I said, in its hitting Brave's backline, Brave deploys themselves back to Catch to fight in it, and they leave Aquarius essentially most largely vacant. There's some people are living in Aquarius. Severance has a couple of constellations, but most of Aquarius is essentially vacant. It has a bunch of Brave structures in it, but it's vacant, and that's when Delta Squad, the Goon Swarm returning veterans group starts attacking the stuff there, and I get myself involved in that, and that has some funny stories associated with it. It was very successful. I might add, it was. I mean, at one point we end up clearing out every Brave bit of Sav in Aquarius.
Okay.
Anyway, but before I get too far on that tangent, so Battle of M2, the massacres of M2. The Pappy refs 3 keep stars, and they've been using their strategy of holding the iHub for 30 days, deploying a Sinojammer, and then jamming the system so that the keep star can't be defended.
Okay.
Well, they tried to do that this time. Are we on an ad break? No? Okay.
I do not think we are on an ad break. I can check, though, if you give me a second.
Okay.
If we are, I will just pause it and make it wait. Yeah, I do not see that we are on an ad break, so you're good.
They ref 3 keep stars down in the constellation next to Fountain. 5 Taxi, M2, and ITAC-E. The first comes armor timers come out within a few hours of each other.
Okay.
5C is first. Goon Swarm or and Imperium subfleets show up in 5C on the Keepstar, and they don't try to hit it. I don't know why they didn't try to hit it, but maybe they weren't set up for it properly or whatever. So 5C repairs, then M2 comes out. Now M2 is obviously the interesting one.
Yeah.
Because we move over from 5C to M2, and somebody gets a ref on the jammer. Or gets some
Ooh.
damage on the jammer.
Mm-hmm.
At which point, the decision is made and the Goon Swarm Titan fleet jumps in. Titan Supers, etc. jump in. Pappy follows suit and engages. At which point, that kicks off the fight. Highlights of the fight were... so, Pappy started out with... eventually regained control of the jammer, but they had to cycle it down to let their own ships jump in. So every time they would cycle it down to reinforce themselves, we would also reinforce. And they had initial numerical superiority and got a lead in the Titan fight. However, the fighter battle, the SS fighters, eventually the carriers and supers win the fighter war, which allows the supers to drop torp bombers and start knocking out Pappy Titans. Partway through, the Pappy tries to dread bomb, tries to drop a few dozen dreads at 0 on the Keepstar on top of the Titans, and all those dreads immediately get deleted by a Lance squadron, a squadron of Lance Titans. There's Goon Swarm drops quite a few long range dreads to support the Titan killing. Eventually, while this fight is going on, ITAC E, which is the third Keepstar, repairs, and M2 is eventually refed into Hall, and the fight goes till downtime. At which point, the incredible decision is made by Villy and the Pappytons not to log back in. I understand the reasoning behind it, but it was not a good decision, ultimately. And so over the next... So the Titan fleet, the Pappy Titan fleet, gets covered in anchored bubbles, and they spend the next 3 days frantically doing move ops, while Imperium spends the next 3 days rearming fighters, etc. And the whole timer rolls around. Goon Swarm and the Imperium position in M2, and then an hour before the timer, Pappy jumps. Okay. I'll just... So the Pappy's Titan fleet, which is logged out, is below the Keepstar.
Okay.
So Goon Swarm positions its Titans on the bottom side of the Keepstar, so it'll be in range of the Pappy fleet when it logs back in. Meanwhile, the super fleet send all their fighters to the opposite. They send all their fighters above the Keep Star, so that you get coverage theoretically in both angles. So there's no way for Pappy to jump in clean
Okay.
without being able to get shot. Because even if they jump in on the side, they're still going to be in range of at least a third of the Titan fleet. Happy jumps in on top of the Keep Star, out of range of the Titans, but on top of
The fighters.
2 carrier fleets worth of heavy fighters.
Oh god.
And it's an absolute massacre. However, I mean, we killed 130 Titans, and other things, plus some other things. However, Pappy is saved, or at least half saved, by the fact that half the Titans don't actually die. They bounce, jump. Essentially, they tried to jump in so many ships all at once onto a loaded grid that some of them bounce back to T5 and only show up halfway. Like they show up on grid, but they're not actually there.
So
It's
like Ghost Titans.
weird things happened. The Ghost Titans, yes. Yes. And as a result, they only lose 60 Titans instead of 130. If every Titan that had jumped in had that click jump had loaded as under effective conditions, they would have lost even more. It was a true massacre of Titans. Yep. And the infamous, I shouldn't say infamous, the legendary command of free fire on Titans was given about halfway through this massacre.
Free fire on Titans. God damn.
Yep. And the funny thing is, out of that fight, just like a year later, we ended up recruiting a pilot that had a Ghost Titan, where the Titan survived. He had a kill mail for it. The Titan survived, and we were able to get him docked and safe. And him in ADFU. He was in ADFU for about 6 months.
Oh gosh.
And then, kind of went inactive, but we got the Titan safe, one of the Ghost Titans, and he was able to sell it.
He was able to sell it.
Yep. He joined the Corp. He hung out with us. He sold it because he didn't want to have to, do anything else with it. He's like, nope, that's it. I'm done with that shit. The first time I jump one in and it gets deleted before I see anything, and then I log back in and I'm still in the frickin' thing. Like, I'm done, right? And so, he got it. We got it docked. We got it in a 1DQ, and he literally sold it like a week later. I was like, I don't want anything to have. No, I'd rather just have the money and fly something else.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's a piece of history. I'll buy that. If I had the ISK and I was around in the game, I'd be like, Ghost Titan, yummy. So, we have the Ghost Titans. We have not as many Titans dying as they should have in theoretical, going from, instead of being 130, 60 dying. So, that's the first part of M2, though, right?
That's the second part.
That's the second
first
part.
The first part, again, it ended at downtime 3 days prior. The numbers were fairly even in terms of ISK. A few more. Goonswim ended up killing a few more Titans. Happy ended up knocking out a few more capitals overall. It was and then as I said, they didn't log back in, and 3 days later, that happened.
Okay.
The result, the effect on the war is it's absolute devastating for Pappy morale, and allows Goon Swarm to take back a number of systems. However, for various reasons, the Goon Swarm leadership decides not to press as hard as perhaps they could have, and ultimately Pappy morale recovers, and they are able to start fielding fleets again of leveraging their larger subcap numbers.
Yeah.
And because the Helm's Deep position was abandoned in order to camp the Titans, because remember, their entire Titan fleet from the first fight is still bubbled below the Keepstar, which is still alive.
Oh.
And so Pappy's most of Pappy's Titans are camped in what's known as a Hell Camp, in bubbles below the Keepstar. Some of them break out after about a month. The rest, well, eventually Pappy takes back the system and is able to hold the iHub long enough to jam it, and once they jam it, the Hell Camp obviously can't be maintained anymore, so it's abandoned.
Yeah.
Back to 1DQ. Meanwhile, Helm's Deep has the Sov in Helm's Deep has fallen, and the and their number, and basically fights are being waged over structures in those constellations, and that's when it's kind of the retreat back to 1DQ is made. Again, there is fighting throughout the region still, but the defensive position is now the 1DQ constellation. 1DQ, 3 TAC D, and TAC 8, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, that was about March. I want to say March is when that position solidified.
So that would be 21 or 22?
21.
21, okay.
This is 21.
Okay.
The Pappy adopts a strategy of trying to drop staging Asbels.
Asbels?
They're the... So, there was a Sov change partway through the war. Okay. Well, a Citadel change, I should say, partway through the war, which made it so if the ADM is above a certain level, you can't drop medium structures that are hostile. You can't drop medium structures in other people's Sov if the ADM is too high. So, because we had max ADMs in the 1DQ constellation, the cheapest structure they could drop was an Asbel. It's cheaper than a fort, cheaper than a Tatar. So they tried dropping Asbels.
Okay.
And we were blowing up said Asbels. And I think they dropped like 20 something of them. And we blew them all up. And eventually they just kind of like, well, shit. After some months of doing the EVE equivalent of pounding their head into a brick wall, they began to adopt what I don't remember if it was Mittens or Brisk who dubbed it the anywhere but delve strategy, where instead of pounding their head into 3 TAC D, they would find other things to do. They cleared out the whether that was clearing out the remaining structures in Helm's Deep, whether that was sending fleets out to Aquarius to shoot the few remaining structures in Aquarius and help Brave recover all the Sav they had lost there, or sending stuff down to Esoteria to fight Bastion's stuff down there. Also, let's not forget sending stuff to Fountain to shoot stuff in Fountain, and sending stuff out to Iridiaconid Losec to blow up Athenors so they could set up their own moon Athenors. Yes, they started doing Losec moon mining because of how much they were tired of shooting T5. Or sorry, pounding their head into 3-TAC-D.
Oh my gosh.
I was during this period that 7 UTB finally fell. There were two systems in Helm's Deep, which retained a blue Citadel presence for longer than any others. They were 3-TAC-D and 8RQJ. Sorry, 7 UTB and 8RQJ. 8RQJ was the last, and that was primarily on the because the number of Athenors in that system was absurd. That was TNT's home system, and they had some ridiculous, like 100 Athenors in there, and it just took forever for Pappy to work through them all.
Yeah, and I think my favorite, the favorite thing about 7 UTB was it was an ADFU structure that was left. It was another Bastion structure, and I think the refinery, right, that were left. It was like our capital shipyard, ADFU's capital shipyard, a fort.
So
and
after the Bastion Keepstar went down, the structures that were left, the faction fort was left. The original faction fort was still there. Our Asbel was still there, and then we had a couple of Rartarus, both of which were ADFU ones.
Yeah, that was just so funny that they lived that long.
Yeah, well, the part of the reason they lived that long is because I kept dropping their fleets that they would send out. They would send out a 50-man Ferox fleet or something to go the Griff thing, because I mean it's a Raitaru, right? The 50-man Ferox fleet is fine. Well, I just kept getting people to drop on them when they were doing that. Like, okay, I'll point them at the structure. You drop your whatever Munin fleet on them, because it's obviously it's in Titan bridge range of 1DQ. So yeah, the structures lived longer than they had any right to. It was
the guy that was doing those, that was commanding those Ferox fleets, was so pissed off. And it was funny because he was talking to us. He's like, "Well, finally, you're over here shooting. I'm over here shooting you," because he was defending the structures over in Esoteria from us. And so we're like, "Oh, we meet again, asshole." And he was like, "Oh shit, it's you guys." I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to earn it this time, buddy. Like, you're not getting a free meal here. You're gonna have to." And the funny thing is I think on that very last fleet that he's like, "Fuck it, I'm retiring." And we should, he's like, I'm gonna come out here so you can just shoot me, send me home. I'm done. And he quit playing Eve for 6 months.
What? Holy shit!
It was a name of a drug. Was it ketamine or something like that? It was a weird drug name.
Was it cocaine?
No, it started with a K. I think it was ketamine was his name, part of it. And he was just like, "I'm gonna go get high. I'm done with this. Like, y'all just shoot me, pod me, whatever." And I think we gave him a shuttle and we killed his ship.
Oh, well,
Go
at
home.
least you gave him a shuttle. You should have given him a Pod Express. I mean, shit.
Well, so here's the thing. When someone admits that you have broken them,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
That's...
I'll give you a 50. I'll give you a shuttle.
Yeah. Gotta be nice and go, okay, I acknowledge your
Yeah.
pain, and okay, yes, this is fair. So
That poor guy, and I think it was me, MWR, and Jaxom that he's just like, you know what, I'm done, guys. I quit.
and this was because of the structure and its self-defense.
So Jaxom, I don't know if anyone's ever like hyped him, but he's really good at defending with structure guns and stuff. Like he's got, I say he's got skills. I've done it before, but between him and MWR, they are the most annoying people to gun a structure. Like if you go up against them, and like I just they got the guy to quit, and he was their guy that he was cleaning out the leftovers, and he was just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm tired of this shit. This war is horrible. I'm done. Shoot blow up my ship, kill me, send me home. And I was like, I'll give you a shuttle, but because your pod, right? I'll let you keep your pod, but we're blowing your ship up. You can go home.
Man, and yeah, I will second this. Having seen Jackson's structure skills in recent days, they are still as sharp. So after you made this, after this guy quit because he was like, I'm not fucking with your structures anymore. Where is this in relation to the end of the war?
This is about 2 to 3 months before the end of the war. So this is May-ish.
Okay.
And again, this is the anywhere but delve phase. When this is also when Bastion loses a lot of the gains it was holding in Esoteria, because again, they're looking for things to shoot that aren't in the 1DQ constellation, so they're sending fleets to go down to Esoteria. A couple of test corps are going up and shooting random people in Outer Ring and Syndicate. Random Athenors in Outer Ring and Syndicate. That's
a distance.
Horde is doing moon mining fleets in Iridia, and this is also the period where they attempt to interdict jump freighters coming in through NPC Delve, and they discover that it doesn't work. There are too many NPC stations, and I have all kinds of fun blowing up their bubbles and making full use of Diamond Rat aggros to make their lives miserable. They tried that for like 3 days, and then it's like, okay, this isn't working.
They didn't play it so smart, or if they did, they didn't quite get there. So you're playing.
They didn't stick the landing.
They didn't land on their feet, and they tried. We'll give them, props for trying, but you gotta stick the landing. So you're playing jump freighter games. They're taking space in Esoteria. It sounds like they're really trying to cope. Or
it's this. Yeah, and it's this. This is also the kind of the boring part of the war. People, there's this fighting going on, but there's nothing really interesting. They stopped trying to drop their Asbel, so there are no more like big fights, and things are just kind of. You have random people throwing. The peak PvP going on right at this period is in Delve is people throwing Thrasher fleets at Sinos on the Keep Stars. That's
the gate camp.
The peak gameplay.
and the gate camp the 1DQ side of the gate camp, where we're all sitting on the McMahon Fist Keep Star, right? And it's just go to the gate, smash shit out of something, come back. Go to the gate, smash shit out of something, come back, right? And they're like, you could tell they were really tired. I mean, we were too, but we still had plenty of fight. The thing that got me was when it all started to clear up, right, and they started to give up. I logged in to Twitch and saw Merc, right, in this 70s suit with a pair of sunglasses on, dancing, right? And he was dancing. I don't remember the song, but it is one of the Seriously songs, I think, that came out. And he was literally just dancing there, like he just the muggest look on his face. And and I was just like, oh, it's over now. Right? He's up there smug as hell. We're done. And sure enough, the announcements, I believe, if I remember correctly, Jaxom, it was like literally the next day they announced it.
Yeah, so there's the end of the war was beginning of August. So essentially July they make an announcement that they are going to do an all-out push on 1DQ. Then a few days later, CCP gives them an excuse to call it off. An excuse, because in those days there was a HISA Keepstar in Perimeter, which collected a significant amount of revenue in terms of market fees.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the trade towers.
It was
Is that what it was called?
Test owned it. It was called the Tranquility Trading Tower.
I was about to have a question that would not be appropriate to Twitch.
CCP had a temporary reduction, like a 3-month, a temporary reduction, I don't remember how long, in market fees, which significantly reduced the revenue there because suddenly NPC market fees were cheaper. So people went over to use NPC market fees and JIT and stuff. So essentially, for a short period of time, they lost most of the revenue from that Keepstar, which gave them a excuse to say, okay, guys, we don't have the money for this. We're going to call off this fight, and we're going to call off the big push, and we're evacuating.
So them using money as an excuse gave them an out, so to speak, when really...
Yeah, it gave them this way to say that to blame CCP. Now, this was a huge problem. Well, a huge... How do I say? So they had, Test in particular, had encouraged all of their corps to live in Delve. Like, guys, we're moving to Delve. This is our home now. Set up all of your stuff, your structures and stuff in Delve. This is where we're living. The amount of infrastructure that Test set up in Delve, dropped in Delve, was absurd. The number more Keepstars, more Satoyus, more faction Fortizars than far more than was needed. It's still mind-boggling the amount of hubris needed to drop that much excess industry, and of course, it all died when they evac'd and ran. Nothing almost actually unanchored.
So is this when you got the Art of the Steel?
Actually, no. The Art of Steel was prior to this. I kind of skipped over this. During the war, as Pappy was moving through, I noticed that they were unanchoring some of the structures that they had deployed earlier when they in the campaign. they were pulling down some of them, putting up new ones, etc., etc. And I noticed that they were really bad at, or I'm going to say bad. They were sloppy with their scooping. And I kind of got the idea in my head that, maybe I can, if I'm clever, I can snag some of these structures before they do. And well, this turned out to be a great success. The Fortizar was an early staging Fortizar. Not a staging, but a deployment Fortizar in YZ-TAC in NPC Delve. Predated the Keepstar. And yeah, they went in. I saw it went in an anchored, and it caught me at an awkward time, but I managed to. I was burying a Sino in it. Some Init guys saw it as well, and brought in a block DST and got the core out of it. Then I got my Sino in, jumped a Rockwell in, scooped the fort, and went and docked in the NPC station. And that was that's still the crown jewel of my stolen structure collection. But yeah, continued to do this over the course of the war, as various people would move structures. Athenor's Astra Houses. I think there was a Corpin test that unanchored 5 Astra Houses at once and forgot to scoop them all, any of them, and I snagged all of them.
Yep. The funny thing about this whole thing is when we were figuring out where we were gonna go, right after the war and all that, most of our structures are the ones we took. Right? I mean, most of them were.
Well, yeah, and during the evac, and yes, and as you kind of allude to, during the evac when they were unanchoring everything, I stole a lot during that period too. I think none of them from Delve, because all the Delve structures died. I mean, the wrecking crew fleets were setting 300 timers at a time, but some of the structures in period basis, Aquarius, Fountain did actually at anchor, only for me to steal them. And yeah, I had a total of 39 structures.
39?
I snagged 39. I would have been 40, but I got hopped by a blue on one of them.
What? No!
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was. Some of the characters I was using were neutral, and I logged in. I logged into Scoop Structure. I came into Scoop the Structure, and there's a blue fleet in there sitting on top of it. And I was like, it took me way too long to find the right comms channel that they were in.
Oh,
and
no.
The funny thing is so Jaxom was stealing structures. Then one of our other directors, MWR, he started doing it, right? And he was getting a lot of
high sec mostly.
Yeah, he was getting the high sec ones and the low sec chain stuff. He was snatching some of those, and then he had me get one in high sec with my alt, right? Squat and Tinkle. I just warped in with a freighter, picked it up, and warped off. I think I got an Ashta house or something, but yeah, dude, we were all doing it. Like if it was there and it wasn't blue and it was getting unnailed down, we were grabbing it.
Yeah, we came achingly close to snagging one of the Keepstars in Esoteria.
Oh God.
When Tess was running out of there, but yeah, timing was bad, but that's it was. some interesting times.
Fun stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
The-
So
oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so yeah, that's the end of the war.
Okay.
After the war, things kind of reset. Everything was different, pretty much. Bastion moved back to Fountain 8, slightly different part of Fountain with Init. Init got most of Fountain, Bastion moved to part of it. Init, well, Init didn't really like having Bastion and Fountain. That's not OPSEC.
Yeah.
Darkshine has said so publicly. But that's well. So, however, now Bastion wasn't in a great financial situation after losing all the structures in Fountain and Delve during the war, and the costs of the Esoteria deployment, etc., etc., etc. Well, when we deployed to Fountain, we didn't have a Keep Star. We only had a 4-star.
Okay.
Me and one of my corp mates, Maddox, built Bastion, the Keep Star, that was dropped in ATAC H.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That, I was like, well, we need a Keep Star, and I want to place a Dock by Super that's not in it, so I'm going to build the damn Keep Star. So we built the Keep Star. Symbiotes dropped it. Hi, Symbiotes. And that was our home for the next until Bastion disbanded, which was, I think this was like December to May. It's December of 21 to May of 22.
And the story about getting that thing, right? Because, we didn't tell anybody. I remember I sent a picture to Carneros and I was like, I have something for you. And he was like, what? What, what is it? I sent him a picture of it in production. I was like, it's out in 5 days. And he's like, wait a minute, what? I was like, you need to find a place to put it because it's coming. We need a place to put our toys. Like, we need our toys, man. We need our toys. And when we brought it down, I bounced off of the fort that the Titan, my Titan was there, and I was freaking out, right? Because bouncing, we were there in the middle of the night, doing it all quiet, and but yeah, it was tons of fun. And then providing it, everyone was happy. We had a big old party. The sad part was eventually the Bastion closed down, and there was a ton of discussions that were had, and I can't really talk about those, but what I can say is that it was the end of an era for us because we knew we weren't going to join Init, right? We knew that we had a goal where we wanted to continue to grow, and we had offers, real gracious offers of course, all of the pillars of the Imperium saying, hey, just come over here, it's okay, you don't have to ask, man, there's an invitation, right? And we had a few of those. I remember reaching out to Clavis and saying, hey man, like we're ready, we're gonna come over right around the time the door closed, we're gonna hang out and continue to be a pillar of the Bastion until the Bastion closes. And that's kind of what we did. And then we joined Goons. Atrim had his comment, and I thought that was just hilarious. It was a welcome, right? In the true fashion of Goons. You kind of get a friendly, I say insult. It wasn't an insult. We knew it was with love, but when Atrim says it, you don't know. Sometimes it's love, and sometimes it's a stick, and and
sometimes
we knew it
both.
was a love comment. Yeah. And I want to be really clear is, we were really tiny in BIA when I took over. And, at that point, I had been like the biggest support guy, right? I was always the guy next to the CEO, right? Helping him out, making sure we had everything. Then it turned into being the people person, right? The guy interviewing everybody. And at the time, like, I literally would have a voice interview in Discord with every person that came into ADFU. It was real personal, right? And because that's what I thought a recruitment director did, right? And then we moved, we grew, we kept growing, and oh wow, look at that, a raid.
I just want to say thanks for XD for popping in with 48 people while we're doing a little bit of a history thing. So thank you, absolutely fantastic. Hi guys.
Yeah, it was during this post-war period that we picked up. Warrior was already a director, but we picked up Padrick.
Yep, Padrick.
And he took over recruitment.
Let me tell you, that Padrick is kind of a special topic for us because we lost Padrick last year. It's almost his anniversary. His anniversary of his death. His passing is next month. He came to us. It was really funny. Carneros came to me and he goes, "Hey, you're still building your command structure in your corp. This is a good guy. Like, I would let him hold the car keys that I have or my wallet. I'd trust him with a credit card. That's the kind of guy this person is. They're real deep. He needs a family. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he is the only person that was recruited and made a director. Like, we brought him in. He was in the Bastion Service Corporation, the Night Watchman, I think, because he was the OTEC P Keepstar Sino, kind of how we have Avoris now that does it. So we literally brought him in, and he was a director from the start, and eventually he did take over recruitment, and that was one of the biggest things. It was, as a CEO, that I had been doing this whole time, and he was the perfect guy to take it. Hand holding the new guys and gals, the folks that were really newbies, like the new blood folks that had never really played before. Would get in and he would work them through getting into comms and learning about Pigeon and how to always be ready to jump on a fleet. And he was instrumental to our growth where we are today. We could not be here without him. Anyway, sorry, I get emotional about Padrick because he was a real close friend.
While I did not know him with some of the more recent stuff that has happened in 2025, I as well get slightly emotional. But so we have Padrick who's helping the new guys. You guys have joined Goon Swarm, and kind of what's going on next?
Growing. Great growth.
Yeah. I guess during the period of being in Bastion, we set up the Iridia base, which we maintain for moon mining and etc. We maintain when we move to Delve. This time when we move to Delve after Bastion disbands, we go to MJXW. Which is in far north Delve, near Iridia, and the reason for multiple reasons. One is because 7 UTB is kind of crowded with other people by this point, and 2, it's really convenient for us to have MJX because it's in jump freighter range of both 1DQ and our Iridia moon stations, and so that works out well. Note on the Bastion Keepstar that Maddox and I built. it eventually gets sold to Init. Init takes it down, and it becomes the deployment keepstar for the Fire deployment in 2022. In the it becomes the ZMV keepstar, which got blown up at the end of that. But that's the fate of that keepstar.
I mean, that's what they're made for, fiery death, and there's, Init took it and put it right there, right? And I was like, oh, that's the one. Hey, guys, it was ours.
That was ours. Hi, old home. It's a flyby.
Yeah, we're docking in it, and it's,
Yep.
It's like the apartment, the apartment placard didn't even change, on the office, the corp office, still had, the same smell from the last time we were there.
No weird smells. It's always a bonus,
Yeah, and having moved to Delve and stuff, we kept growing, faster, probably, than before. Eventually, when actually it was not even eventually, it was a few months. We got the Viridian. The Viridian expansion gets announced, and as soon as I see the patch notes for that, I start making plans for a capital production setup in Lua 5.
Okay.
And that I already had my structure Raitaru elsewhere, but Lua 5 is where I decided to set up our capital industry part, and which is basically a lesser version of the setup, which is now in 6.i.
Okay.
And when I finish it, it is only one of only 2 capital Asbels in Delve. And yeah, so.
Okay. Wow.
So that's how we finally got back to, it's our first real industry structure we've had since
Fountain?
The 7 UTB got blown up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we're back at industry, and it's very successful in terms of quite a few people start using that structure. And the rest of the park, and it becomes the basis for the 6.i setup.
Okay.
To do it, but no, I mean, I read the patch notes dropped on Friday. Friday night, I dropped the Asbel. I didn't have a rig for it, but I dropped it because I was like, this is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And I want to get my foot in the door before somebody else reserves the system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
And then after that, my great project was, during the war, we didn't have a Keepstar in NPC Delve. And I was frequently upset about it. And I decided at one point, it's like, if someone else doesn't get a Keepstar on NPC, I will see a Keepstar on NPC Delve if I have to build it myself. Well, I had to build it myself, so yes. But I wasn't able to steal it, so I built the Keepstar that's in PR Tech is mine. I built it because I was like, there needs to be a Keepstar in NPC Delve.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's still there.
I know. I still have stuff in it, I think. So, but yeah, so we've gone over World War B. We've gone over the various things of growth, and since after the end of the war, we've we've gone back and forth and in the joking style of its ADFU Bandcamp stories. They are linear. If you go and listen, I did make sure to ask questions on dates, so that way we could kind of keep a timeline with it. And if you listen to the Night Watchman one as well, you can also pair up timelines very easily, as well as a side by side. So these are very, because they're both Bastion corporations, very, I don't want to say linear, but they have, you can piece together the timeline kind of from hearing both stories. But you've gone through the growth, you got your Keepstar, which is still there. I think I still have stuff in it. And what kind of was the next big event or next event for ADFU after that?
Probably the move, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say the Great Migration.
Yeah. And then we had because Viridian occurred. I will add in this in the meantime. Viridian. Whatever. I'm suddenly getting my timelines mixed up. I have to keep my timelines straight. Okay, this was a year after Viridian was the Equinox thing, and well, we looked at the Equinox ships, particularly the new ships and the new structures and stuff, and we invested heavily in that. Very early on.
Okay.
I figured out how I could build an Avalanche faster than anyone else was capable of it. And so I built the first Avalanche, and I still have it.
Nice.
It's named the first. And I know it's the first because I made use of the fact that 1DQ has a T2 research and a T2 manufacturing Satoyo, or had at the time a T2 research and a T2 manufacturing Satoyo, which allowed me to knock off 2 cycles of time efficiency and then make it faster than anyone else. So it was. I'm very proud of that achievement. But
I definitely would be as well.
Anyway,
yeah, good call.
We built a lot of the skyhooks for the Imperium, like a lot. I don't remember exactly how many we ended up churning out, but
it was a high quantity.
We built a lot.
Yes, it was a lot.
And at first it was really, because they're a bit of a pain in the ass, and so we started off logs. We were like, oh yeah, we'll sell a few of these, and then it's like, hey, we'll take everything you have, keep them coming, and I was just like, okay, double production, boys. Let's double down, right? They need it, and they need it now.
Eagle Claw helps mapping that right out. See, okay, I just remember.
He totally did.
I just remember we had gone out to somewhere, and with another director. It was kind of a corp. I think we went to a corp lunch type thing, for those of us who were here, and we walked in. Oh. We walked out. Oh. And I was like, y'all were putting in the work on those. Eagle, if he remembers right, is somewhere between 250 to 300. That's what he is saying.
Good old skyhook. Yeah, it was a ton.
But so you're building big things, building big skyhooks, and then the dreaded move, and then you're in the new space. So, and we're all still trying to figure out the new space. We're getting our footing. I think people are definitely settling in. I think everybody's gotten past the fuck this I want to go back home kind of thing, but you know.
Yeah, we new space. The moment they allow corp industry structures, we get our application in for our double SEZ corporation economic zone in 6I and
Any certain
08N.
region. Yes.
Um,
I will protect your says if I can help it. Damn it.
Yeah, and it's unique. I'm also very proud of my setup for that because it's unique in the aspect of having having a combined component ASBEL. The standard setup a lot of people use is they use this capital capital component rig and then a capital ship rig, which, I mean, it's fine if you're only building T1 capitals, but actually, some T1 capitals. However, you have a limitation in that a lot of components that go into the capital components are actually advanced components.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of, I got frustrated just thinking about trying to keep track of what rig bonus is what. So I got the idea of putting them both into the same structure. That way, you don't have to worry about it. You just build all your components in the same structure, and then you move your capital thing to the capital ship. And it's also more fuel efficient too, because manufacturing plant for components and stuff is a separate rig from the capital shipyard you need to build capitals.
Oh shit.
So
see, okay, I know a little bit of ADFU's says, and having heard you talk about it, my brain is just over here like I'm still just kind of just sitting like, damn, this is a smart way of doing it. I just was like listening and going, that is complicated and that is way above my knowledge level of, but it is absolutely, I love when I still have stuff over there. I occasionally will.
Well, and the funny thing about that whole release, right, of that oh my god,
words,
that whole patch. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, my brain just wouldn't say the word patch, right? That whole patch that allowed us to pull rigs, you know, from the structures that were deployed a certain day, that is what set us on the path, right? We knew, we're like, okay, we need to burn all of our resources in Delve that we have and build as much as we can before we have to pull the rigs out of the structures. And then, you know, when we moved down, we had everything. We planned it out as best we could and hoped for the best. And it's been really nice, right? You know, I don't really want to get into numbers with it, but it's taken care of and people use it. It's not just us using it. And that's what makes me happy, seeing other people benefit from something we put together, right?
It's okay.
And
I'm not a numbers person either. I am. The running joke currently is about 4 is the happiest number that I am. I'm like, this is good. So, as somebody who's not a numbers person and has running jokes about their counting skills, yeah, no, it is. I love seeing. It's always busy over there as well. And then Eagle's over here going, the only way it could be better set up is a T2 Sotio, and only one of those exists, if he remembers correctly. And then on the Skyhooks, he's saying it was closer to about 500 with his numbers.
Yeah, it was.
It's okay. I can't numbers.
The thing
either.
about the Skyhooks, we were just pushing as hard and fast as we could, because we knew that the faster they got out, the quicker stuff could happen. Right?
Yeah.
They could get switched over faster. The sooner they're switched over faster, the quicker that the Alliance could, get the fuels, right? The special fuels off of those special places. The was it the gas and the ice fuel? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, we got this. Let's pump them out, pump them out, pump them out, pump them out, and it ended up working out pretty good. I think that kind of brings us up really to current and
Up to speed.
Yeah, and I'll just add that. Ironically, the whole move thing. It was during the period when I'm setting up this ArcWarp says I'm also doing anchoring work for other people. So in the space of about 2 weeks, I dropped 5 says.
Mm-hmm.
right, Prado
I
and the other
remember
group.
this. I remember this because it's like, hold on, wait, is this Jack? Oh, he's over there. He's over there. We just bloop. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, Tbagger, can you log in at like
3 o'clock in the morning.
11:45 tonight or mid? Yeah, can you log in and put a core in this structure? Kind of dropped that one a little late.
I actually passed out halfway through anchoring one of them. I actually passed out in my chair. And
At least you were in a chair.
that doesn't happen very often.
I would say, knowing you, you're usually very good about making sure that you're in bed and like prepared and not potentially like half asleep like that. So that's hilarious to hear. And I'm so sorry.
But
That's great.
But I didn't. Hey, I managed to not misalign any of the structures. So there's that.
Damn.
Yeah, and
That's-
the funny thing, the funny thing was I got this random ping, and it was like, hey, you screwed up on dropping a structure. It's too close. We can't put a gate down. And I was like, what? Jaxom, he never makes mistakes. Are you sure? Double check it. Right. And they're like, hey, they're telling us. Yeah. And he's like, oh, shit. Yeah, no. It'll fit. Don't worry. Calm down. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
remember
Like,
that.
I'm like, man, I do not want to rip up a structure and redraw. No, it was so funny.
I remember that one. And then Eagle's over here like, hey, why do we have structure and low power? Guess I'm gonna run to high sec and go grab a core, save it.
Yeah, that's
Oh god. Oh, but so
a lot of those knee-jerk quick action stuffs, Yeah.
So, okay, so we've gotten all the way up to current. I have to ask, and I'm fairly sure that chat has probably heard this hammered into them for the last at least 4 to 6 months, but well, there's a first part of the question before we get to the part that everybody's gonna groan at. But can you tell me about some of the awesome stuff that ADFU does for its members? And then the dreaded question, are you recruiting?
We subsidize mining.
What?
Oh yeah, this is
Oh
classic.
no!
We subsidize moon mining.
Yeah. Can I tell this story? Because like it won't take
Go
long.
for it.
So we're doing other things and there's income coming in, and one of our finance directors is like, look man, I am tired of dealing with moon tax shit. Can we just like just let them get it and not care? Like we're making more than enough. Like can we just like not have moon taxes anymore? Because like I don't want to chase people. And this guy Eagle, right, he's here. He at the end of every month there's this there's these where's my money, bitch? Tickets, tickets and memes. Yeah,
Where's my money,
he's,
bitch?
and it's all jokes, right? It's all memes. There's no harshness to it, but
Oh no.
yeah, we just decided that it's not worth the squeeze to chase people for it. You know, and so yeah, we don't charge for the moon taxes. We pay it, right? The Imperium still expects us to pay it, which we do, but we eat that. Another thing that we're really big about is we're trying really hard to get people that have never played Eve before to give it a try, right? Like even you, right? You were really young in your Eve infancy when you
I
came to
was
join us. I say Eve
26
infancy.
days old in Eve.
Yep.
26
And
days.
and so one of our hallmark things is if you don't know Eve, but you hear all these crazy ass stories, you know, you watch these videos, you know, you've seen a couple Matani speeches, you've seen some of our fireside chats that get posted and stuff. You know, if you want to live that and you want to check it out, you know, come check us out. We'll show you the ropes. If you don't understand it, there's always somebody to answer questions. We're primarily U.S. time zone right across the board, like all of them, but we do have a growing EU and Australian time zone that's kind of growing. You know, we're 80. Last time I checked, we were still in the 80s for humans, but we're well into the 400s now for actual pilots. So it's been steady growth. Our last burst was Eagle bringing his alts back in, but self-imposed spike in growth. But our specialty is that Eve it's a really cool game. It's really complex, but if you don't understand it and you want to kind of make your mark in it, we'll help you. We'll show you the way. We'll help you get set up. We'll help you get in the right ships with the right fits. We'll teach you how to go out on fleets. We'll be right there with you.
In terms of X-Bastion Corps and Goon Swarm, we are currently, in terms of the largest of the X-Bastion Corps and Goon Swarm.
Yeah, and to Angel, to answer your question,
repeat that. What number of largest?
In terms of X-Bastion Corps and Goon Swarm, ADFU is the largest.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Sorry. Go ahead, T.
Yep. No, you're fine. Andrew, to answer your question, in nullsec life, people tend to have more than one character, right? More than one account. For example, I have 42 characters myself. They all have a job, right? I don't spend a lot of time skilling a character into a ton of skills. I will take time and have a character that's very specialized. For example, my Sino pilots, right? They do a very specific job. That's all they do, right? They're Sino pilots. I have PI pilots that help me build things that I want to build. Those pilots are also BPO researchers, and they're also reaction characters, right? And those are all paid accounts, right? They're not alphas or anything, and that's how I afford to play and have fun.
So I actually want to answer the question. If somebody's traditional doesn't want to do that, I am I was a one account, one character girly. I now have a Vegeta alt, but that's so I can get me some deals. I gotta shop around. I'm a girl, okay? We like to get our deals.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts. And then next thing you know, you've got an alt that hauls things for you. Then you get and then that alt becomes your defender. Yeah.
And I have my Sino alt because I'm like, okay, and now I'm like, now I gotta make a dread alt. Like there is, that you can. It's doable. But yeah, one character can slowly turn into several dozen of just alpha accounts until they're ready, until they're needed.
Yeah, I've capped basically capped myself at 4 Omega accounts.
Yeah.
I have some other alphas that I occasionally use for things, but yeah, I started off. I had my main character for a long time. Then the next one was actually one I bought by accident because I accidentally bought the same pack twice. And I'm like, well, shit, I can't use this pack again. So I guess I better create a new account for it. That's how I got Queen, and then
Oh, yeah.
2 other characters I created at the same time with the intention of sometime in the future they would become Omega. And they eventually did. One became my Fax pilot, and the other became my Dread and then Titan pilot.
Yeah. So
Long story
that's
short, are people told you need to train this or train that? I mean, honestly, Angels, that's... I think when I first hopped in, I think I got into one ship that was like, I needed to do this, and if I remember right, that was the Harpy. Other than that, I kind of told everybody to fuck off and leave me alone and let me do my own thing. And then that turned into, hold on, go sit in a Dread. Okay, big toys. And yeah, like,
yeah, and
yeah.
so the extra piece that I would say, Angel, is that we have doctrines, right, that are setups for ships that our fleet commanders know exactly how they fly, exactly what their range is like, how fast they move, how quickly they align to warp. And so a lot of these things, these variables that remain consistent, it's more of a, hey, if you do this, it'll be easier, right? And you can do your own thing. I don't think we've ever told anybody that they have to. I think the only thing that we really wanted folks to get into was at least one doctrine so that they can go on fleets. In ADFU, we do have a minimum requirement of activity. We want you to log in and at least go out on 4 fleets a month, right? It's real simple. It's a fleet a week, right? It's pretty
If
easy
that,
stuff. But
like, it
yeah,
can be done in like 2 hours
so
sometimes. Really just depends on what's
right,
going on.
exactly. Yeah, and so it basically it's just we want our pilots to be active, and we also want them to have a good time. So no, we don't tell people what they have to do. We just say, hey, this is a ship that that it's on the list of things that get called a lot, and if you let's say you don't like flying harpies, right?
E-War.
No, it's heresy, but there's E-War stuff,
That's
right? So if you like
heresy?
jamming people, well, to some people saying that you don't like harpies, right? In GSF, but then there's Logi, right? Help, healing ships and stuff like that that repair damage and stuff like that. So there's all these different avenues, right? These different cycles that you could choose to play, but we make them available and share the knowledge. How you take that knowledge is entirely up to you.
And definitely, like, okay, as somebody who was very much having to restart their skill queue because I would fill it up. I no longer do this. It's at 60 days right now, so we're good. Okay, maybe 63. But no, once I got into the stuff and then going, okay, this is what I find fun. I'm going to go do this. And Eagle, and yeah, his it's all voluntary and he pay for the help, stuff like that. I will state, for my birthday, Eagle, if next Eve Vegas, if next Eve Vegas we all go, you're probably getting bought a drink,
Oh my goodness.
or at least a hug, because he got me into my first monitor, which has since blown up.
Yep.
But yeah, so like in general, like it is absolutely, and Angel, yeah, there is no like it's you have to do this. This is a good idea to train into, but it's not like a hard requirement, I would say, for lack of better words. And a very helpful group of people that'll teach you, you know, hey, I want to do indie. Oh, like, one of our lovely people was like, here, take a box for the move. I still have that box. It still has 300 BPCs in it. So, but yeah, absolutely, fantastic group. And I did slightly, butt in there to answer questions. So, are there any other benefits, I guess I should ask, that people should be aware of?
I think Eagle started to kind of talk about some of it. Is we have some manufacturing programs that we get help from our members with. We actually pay them to do it, right? So you know, if they show us that we have skill plans, right? And so they can click on that. They can open a ticket on our Discord, show us that they can do those things, and then we bring them into that program. And then essentially, you know, a ping goes out. Hey, it's build day. You know, everybody have your characters ready. We're going to be over here, because sometimes manufacturing moves around, and you know, I don't necessarily want to tell everyone the numbers, but but you know, we'll use your slots.
Don't tell numbers.
And we'll pay you to use your slots, right? To help us out, and it helps further the goals for the corp, which then makes ISK, which then flows back into its members, right? It's all about that circle, right? The corp projects take care of the corp members take care of the corp projects, and it's basically this circle of basically everybody taking care of each other, and that's I would have to say that's probably the coolest thing about ADFU, and is that it's a space tribe of folks that all want to see the best for each other, right? You know, we're always challenging each other to try new things, and you know, our FC program, you know, it's growing. It's doing this weird thing with these cool little weird fits that no one in a million years would ever try.
Jaxom.
You know, going after.
I have to. Jaxom.
Right. You know, stuff that
he's the AT guy. His brain. He might laugh at me, but his brain on ship fittings. I'm just over here like, hold on, let the man cook. He's doing his thing.
And
just let him go.
That is, like I said, it's a space tribe of folks that they all just want to help each other out, right? And enjoy the game, and that's what we're here for. We're all here to have a good time.
For sure.
What he said.
I mean, I'm here to have a good time. I mean, sure, sometimes space jobs, you know, I will say that space jobs sometimes they suck sometimes, but you know, it's worth it. The effort that I've put in, the effort that we've all put in together is totally worth it.
I will say, to the point of the fact that Tbagger is here just to have fun, he may or may not have been my bouncing block for memes to do for this, to have a little bit of fun, make everybody laugh. So him and I might have ping-ponged the 1DQ package just a little bit.
Yeah, I was half asleep when we came up with that. That was hilarious. You know, hey, what if we had a package delivered by ITL that had some of that Seema's Wegmans sauce in it? I actually looked on Amazon for Wegmans, and I couldn't get it here fast enough for this. I was going to legit spend $20 and have 3 bottles of Wegmans sauce from Amazon delivered to my house, just so I could have legit Wegmans sauce for this. But it wouldn't get here fast enough.
So, Angel, I really appreciate it. make sure, this is why, part of why I have the one-on-ones, or not necessarily one-on-ones, because sometimes it's groups of people, but, depending on who's available and who would like to talk, but I appreciate it, because that way people can see, hey, I was here, but the cultures in the different corps and the communities and how they all feel are completely different. And maybe it's just finding one that feels better for you and sits where you are comfortable. And that definitely is a trial and error type thing. And I understand that. Okay. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say one last thing.
Yeah.
One of the other differences that I try really hard to do is I try to run ADFU like as close to a real world corporation as possible, right? You're taking care of your people. If you take care of your people, they'll take care of your customers. All that stuff that gets touted everywhere, right? But the biggest thing is when someone comes to me and they say, "Hey, man, I don't think this is a fit for me," which it happens, and I'll say, "Okay, look, what are you looking for? What do you want to do?" I have a ton of friends all over the Imperium. I'm a diplomat, and I talk to a lot of people. So if you tell me what kind of gameplay you're looking for, I might be able to shoot you in a direction that you want to go. Because ultimately, and I don't know how other corporations work, but here, I just want you to have fun, right? If you're here and it's a drag, you're not going to log in. And if you don't log in, well, then the corp looks inactive. So if helping you find your spot on your stepping stone, like I don't necessarily say I want us to be your stepping stone, but the worst thing that happens is you get into our corp, you figure out, okay, this is too much. I need something quieter, or I need more people, or I'm bored. If you end up looking for another spot, I want people to be their best selves. So I'll always help people look for the right fit if it's not with us. And it's not negative, right? I want you to still be in the family or in the greater Imperium community. So if you find yourself in a place and you're just looking for somewhere to go, and it's not us, right? I'll help you.
Yeah. All right. So with all of that,
Corp is special, like,
and I would definitely agree, that the ADFU is a special place to be, and yeah, we make jokes, we have fun with each other. Yeah, we have memes. Yeah, we make Rambo try to stay up 24 hours because it's funny as fuck. He's tired.
Yeah,
and
that
it's
was
his birthday.
I the entire time that happened, that was totally worth the 3 5-pack subs that I dropped on him. Just to, like, he would get like within 5 to 10 minutes, and I'd be like, nope.
Well,
5-10 minutes, nope.
When he got
and then
down
Eagle did it
to the 16, like right before the 16-hour mark, he had I dropped 25 on him because I'm like, okay, you're gonna cross that longest streamline, then maybe you go to sleep, and then people drop $250. I'm just over here like, I'm trying to let the man break his record and go to sleep.
The thing that got me was, and I have to say this, his stream is the perfect mix of ADHD that I've ever seen in a stream. There's so much stuff going on, but not enough to where I'm like, oh god, fuck, turn this off. Right? The ping pong launchers, where like every like half hour or so I'd get enough points, and he would like start scanning, and I'd hit him. Right? He'd start scanning like a site, and I'd do the fireball. Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't think he understands how much joy that brought into my life, being able to spend 750 points to have him get shot.
It's only
with ping pong balls.
It's only 700. You paid 750?
Well, I thought it was 750. I knew it was 700 something. I was so tired. I was there the entire time that I was awake.
So was I, and it was to the point that your name got called for the final like giveaway before the marshal, and I was like,
yeah,
you gotta wake up. You gotta go get this.
Yeah, I was half asleep.
You were half asleep, and I'm like, dude, you won. Come on, let's go. Go get it! I can't go get it for you, but I can wake you up so you can get it. But fun little things like that, and making things like that super memorable and super great. And I feel bad for tormenting him with Baby Shark and Newt Newt. Kind of a little bit.
The Newt Newt thing.
That might have been me.
We need to add that sound to my Discord dashboard. It's got to happen.
Yeah, I may or may not have been the person going and getting all the Newt Newt links from Spotify and putting in Newt Newt and then Kleiner High or whatever the German Baby Shark was. That was me. I will fess up to that. But I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe because it was hilarious. And then Faf coming in with the 84 years thing.
Man, dude, at the end of it, when he looked at the camera, he stared at the camera for a solid 40 seconds. And he was saying, fuck these people for putting me through this shit.
Yes!
Right? And the funny thing is, when you look at that stuff, we literally, and it's fun, safe trolls, okay? It's not hurtful stuff. And I think the best policy we have on that kind of stuff is if someone does get take something and gets really pissed off, because it happens, right? Everyone has emotions, but we have the change the subject rule, right? If someone in Discord says, hey man, let's change the subject, let's talk about something else, we do it, right? No questions asked, we talk about something else, right? Because you never know what someone's struggles are like. And so that rule has, and that was actually a Patrick idea, and it's really served us well.
And to quote Eagle, benevolent trolls. This is pretty accurate. But honestly, with such a great community there, I'm going to, and Jaxom got excited because I mentioned this before we started this, and you guys have touched on some with the skyhooks, with the stealing of stuff, with really a lot of awesome things, but are there any big accomplishments that ADFU has that you can talk about that hasn't already really kind of been touched on?
That hasn't already been touched on. Oof.
Oh, you can go off of what's been touched on. Whatever. It just if it's been touched or untouched, I don't really have a preference. But you do you. You pick.
I mean, for me, the Keep Star is the big one. The two Keep Stars that ADFU has pulled up are really big deals for me. The Skyhook program was big.
Can I touch on one that Rambo touched on a little bit? Well, he laughed about it. I can't.
No, man.
Eagle is saying the first one is Ariel as well.
Yep, he built and sold the first two. One of those was Shingley's, right, Eagle? I think that was the second one. I think was Shingley's. I don't know. I thought
it went to somebody.
Yeah. The other thing is we may have crowdsourced a faction for ourselves.
That may or may not be called the ADFU Penis Star.
Well, first off...
Hey, it hasn't been named yet.
It hasn't been named, and that was just...
Corpus Maximus Erectus.
It looks like a big... Yeah, so... so
I have the medal, too.
What we did was... whoever helped us crowdsource it, they get their name right in the bio. But it's also going to be our memorial spot where we, have our fallen folks are going to be listed there as well. And the biggest thing was the, whoever donated the most to help us get it earned a title and a medal.
Yeah, that was a really... I remember watching that, and Rambo's like, no, I am the Lord Saucig. I will be the Maximus Erectus penisile star. Yes, I remember this, and I just was like,
and
it's
that
perfect.
That was the joke, the first ADFU penis star, right? That was a joke, right? I don't think we're actually going to name it that. I think we have better class than that. Although if you look at my character names, you wouldn't be able to tell. But there's one other cool thing I'll mention, and then I'll let Jaxom go. But so we have this thing whenever we get new people in the corp. Some of the directors and some of the officers will try to. I'm going to call it reindeer games, right? They're playful. And so Eagle Claw and a few others were able to convince a pilot, Sir Foucault, that if he spun his ship 10,000 times that he would get a skin or a Marshall, a BPC or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. And so the pilot did it. He did it, and he's like, dude, I didn't get any shit, right? And we're like, well, okay. Did you reach out to CCP, right? So someone said that. I don't know who did. And so he did. He opened a support ticket with CCP, and he was like, where the fuck's my shit? And so that went on for like a week or two. And then finally finding out that there was a ticket, I said, hey, look, I know I have some contact with CCP Swift. I said, can you give me your ticket number, and I'll find out what's going on, because CCP Swift and I worked out an issue I had where he reached out to me directly in Discord, and we worked out another issue. And so I sent him a message, and I said, hey, look, this is totally my fault. My corporation directors and some of the officers told this guy that you guys were going to give him free shit for spinning his ship 10,000 times. And he opened a ticket. Here's the ticket number. I am so sorry. Please, if we give you a skin, can you give it to him just so we can make the story stick, right? And they played along. They actually gave him a medal, the Whirling Dervish, and they gave it to him. It is a CCP issued medal. Yeah, it's an old Easter egg.
An old Easter egg.
Be broken. Yeah, and so it happened, and so CCP Swift was very gracious, and he goes, "Oh my, okay, what character? Let me figure this out. I hope we pick the right one." And CCP played along. They did their part, and great. And it was the first time that I'd really had CCP play along in a joke, and they did. They pulled through. They gave him the medal, and we felt bad for hazing him. We apologized to him. I say hazing. It was very light. He heard us say it was not real like several times, and then still submitted the ticket. So, but yeah, he got a corporate medal. It's Sir Foucault or Fuckalot. I don't know what the name of the character. I'll have to find it. Yes, that is the right word, but it was with love. It was totally with love, and he totally deserved it. He was a great guy, or is a great guy.
I'm still laughing at the fact that it was Eagle who told him to submit a ticket.
Well, I mean, that's what we tell everybody: just make a ticket.
I know.
And he went to CCP, right? And we're thinking like Discord. No, he went straight to CCP. Where the hell is my stuff? Like, I did this, and the funny part is the first ticket is like, man, maybe you just got a really shitty GM. Ask for a manager, and that he did. He's like, I'd like to talk to someone else because apparently you don't know about this. This is a real thing, and dude, I felt so bad.
Oh God.
I felt so bad. I apologized. I said, "Man, make sure you tell the guys I'm sorry. Is there like a link I can donate to buy your guys coffee and donuts on a morning or so, or whatever you guys eat over there, like for breakfast? Like whatever. Like you let me know. I'll spend $50 on telling y'all I'm sorry."
Angel, I would say he voluntarily did it. He didn't have to do it.
Yeah, and he knew.
He was made aware as well, so I wouldn't say. But yes, benevolent trolling is the word that I would use, in the fact that some of the stuff.
Well, the secret's out now, so we have to change it because now all the new
God.
recruits will see this video and go, "You're not going to get me, Copper." So we'll have to
God.
find something else. Maybe that's less labor intensive, but
Yeah.
he did it, and he's like, I did it, and we're like, well, I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't even know that the thing counted. I didn't even know that it put a number at the bottom of your screen when you spun your ship. I didn't know that.
Oh my God. And Eagle's saying the best part was the GM told him it wasn't a thing, and they convinced him to put in another ticket because the GM must be new. It's an old thing. My face is gonna turn bright red with laughter as it already has. Man, I love it. I love all of the funniness and the laughs that have come from stuff in here. And see, y'all told me that story when I joined not too long after joining ADFU. So I remember this. As far as that, but what would make the story even funnier is that the guy secretly knew y'all were full of shit and did it anyway. I mean, he might have. I don't know. But honestly, having been a part of ADFU, I feel like I am slightly biased on this, in the fact that I know the community, and I can say from all of the fun stories and the people in it, that it is a wonderful community that helps others, that is very good for newer players trying to learn, or older players who are like, hey, I'm just coming back to the game. Or the Secret Santa Shamash.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, your Shamash.
Tbagger at Jamash for Christmas.
Dude, I was not prepared for that, and so for those of you that know, like I'm the compliance director, right? I'm the guy that looks at ESI and makes sure people aren't being bad and
That's
stuff
what
like
makes this
that.
funny.
And so Eagle knew that I would like see random money moving. Like I would look that far, right? I don't have time for that shit. But some things, right? And the funny thing is, they did it. They had their own Discord, right? They did it completely behind my back. I had no idea the entire time. And so he's like, "Hey man, you want to sit in a really cool ship?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, here." And he handed me a Shamash. I was like, "Oh my God, this is so sexy. Hell yeah, I'm sitting in this. I'm going to undock and get pictures." And so I undock in it, and I'm getting a couple pictures. He goes, "That's yours." I was like, "What?" He goes, "That is for you. Secret Santa, the entire corp worked together behind your back, and that is yours, dude." I'm gonna tell you guys, it was the first time that I literally had a tear roll down my cheek. Like I've always done stuff for others, and so getting that was probably the coolest good thing that's ever happened to me and Eve.
And I will confirm, you sat there and watched the intro video of it recently 4 times.
Well, yeah, because I didn't know that I could hit the button, and then I was just like, I had the new skin you made for it, and I was just like, oh my God, this ship is so sexy. It's the Blood Raider Dreadnought, and
Yeah.
there's just something about the Blood Raiders that I understand as a diplomat.
Sounds like you need to read The Burning Life. It's got a lot of Blood Raider lore in it.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend it. Angel, yeah, I would just keep listening. I would keep an open mind and listen, because when people are opening up on something like this, they're showing the community kind of a peek into their community. And I don't know if you take my word for it, but I have been an ADFU before. I am a fan. I haven't been an ADFU for about a month and a half, but I'm still biased on the fact that ADFU is a really great culture. It's a really good place to learn, and it's a really good place to, not have to worry about maybe being overwhelmed and having people go, "Hey, you need BPCs? You want BPCs? I give you BPCs. BPCs?" It's like the guy from Critical Role who goes, You sell spice? You want the spice? And yeah, so that's the closest meme that I can tell you is they're gonna try and give you just handfuls of BPCs, and they're absolutely wonderful people and a great place to hang out around with and laugh. And the amount of times laughing and losing my shit getting my face all red where I can't breathe because it's funny, it's the thing. And Symbiote is right. They're funny and they're weird and they're entertaining, but they're all rolled into this ball of benevolent troll that is absolutely wonderful. So.
Should I send you more oxygen?
At this point, maybe I really needed it. On the 19th when Rambo did his thing, dude, I was laying in bed and I couldn't stop laughing my ass off. I was dying. It was horrible. Oh my god, that's fucked. I forgot oxygen is a PI thing. The last time that happened, you sent me 100 oxygen.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah.
Yep. Hey, Rose, I sent you a picture of it.
Oh, the medal.
The actual medal, and I linked the pilot that earned it.
Okay, I cannot have a safe way to pull this up.
Yeah, no worries.
It's the link is on there, and if you want to look him up, you can definitely see it. And the Cynovigil. When the Cynovigil where y'all killed 4 Archons or something like that. Was it 4 or was it 3?
One was an accident. Poor guy.
This is true. I remember that. That was pretty funny. That was horrible. And it was replaced.
Yeah.
Within 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was funny.
It was replaced in a few minutes. And we're like, oh shit, sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I think 3 or 4 Archons died that evening. But, we were having fun, and it's what Ashen would have wanted. Like, absolutely hilarious and fantastic, and oh gosh. I don't have enough words, but look into ADFU if you're interested in it was meant to be 4, but it turned out to be 5. God damn it, Eagle.
Womp womp womp.
But ADFU is recruiting. So if you are interested in ADFU, there is a link to their Discord. You pop in there, you make a ticket, and a recruiter will be with you shortly and go over and help you get everything taken care of. But that is the easy way to do it. But yeah, pop in their Discord, say hi, ask questions, and make a ticket and do the thing. So, with that, I'm going to say thank you guys because it is getting a little late. And I don't want to keep anybody later than, too late because it is getting to be roughly 10:30. Heidi, like 2 ADFU people, they're cool. I used to be one, do I count? I'm kidding. But yeah, so definitely check ADFU out. They're really funny. They're a really good group. Really supportive, really helpful, and there's people usually on. It seems like all the time. At least from my memory. But all right.
Yeah, it's been pretty active lately. It's been pretty good.
So with that, we have Mr. Lord Jaxom and Mr. Tbagger. And as I did not finish my tea in the teabag mug. But as I do that, I will go find us somebody to raid and say hello to. Let me see. Before
that is one of my favorite mugs.
I know it is. I had you get it down from the top
it's held
shelf.
more. Yeah, it's special. That in the other mug that you have, so that's my CD mug. That is an official CD Fat B that Shingley provided me the picture of for me to get my own mug. And then, and then the other one is a mug that I ordered after the fall of OTAC P, which is in Fountain. The cup itself has some armor damage, as you can see. It's missing its handle, but it's remember Fountain and Delta Squad, right, with its little insignia there. We gave them hell. It was a ton of fun.
Oof. All right, Eagle Claw has asked for 2 jokes. Did Eagle Claw, were you here for the Wegman spaghetti sauce joke? Where I got a package delivered from 1DQ to UALX with Wegman spaghetti sauce. I got 2 bottles. Actually, hold up. This one even has a J on top for Jaxom. I'll have to go back and pull that and make it a clip. But
yeah, we raided his supplies and ITL was able to get it to us.
They were pretty quick. From what I noticed, they were pretty quick. I was pretty happy with it. I was like, shit. But, yep. Other than that, jokes. Oh, God, I'm shitty at jokes. I will give you your jokes back because, one, my brain is a little dead and I probably should take my meds. But, I will give you jokes either. I will find a way to give you jokes or give you back your points. So,
Why does a giraffe have such a long neck?
Ooh, that's a good one. To reach the wrong Archon?
Because its head is so far away from its body.
It's so horrible, but it's so good.
Oh my fucking god! We've been undocked for too long, guys. It's no shit. I was gonna start with the limerick was there once was a person from Venus, right? I'm not gonna do that.
Oh my goodness! All I know is that the laughs have been wonderful, but it is time to call it because everybody's tired. So I'm gonna let them go do their space stuff, and then I'm gonna go do my spaceship coloring book, and which means I'm gonna go play with Skinner, and I don't know, maybe we'll stream that tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. But this episode was brought to you by Rose Tinted Holes. Anyway, let's go ahead and raid out and have a good night, everybody. Take your meds, drink water, eat food, do the thing. And thanks, Jaxom and Tbag, for coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lovely to be here.